had overturned the judgment of a federal high court that sacked them. The elected chairman of Asaritori local government area in 2015, Fred Horsfall, in company of the vice chairman and councillors, protested to the Asaritori council headquarters in Buguma. They say they are now the authentic officials of the council following the Court of Appeal judgment.
So today we come to show our presence that the 28th of February judgment in the Court of Appeal, Rivers State, has brought us back to power. We are here before Asaritori Local Government Council because this is the authority we represent. We are saying this because as we speak, there's no government right now. We wouldn't be here if the immediate past government, Julian Macri, this city wouldn't be here because we are law-abiding people. Can never be violent. Promise not to be violent. Because it's not there, there's no other person. Every Nigerian knows that as we speak, we are the authentic government of Asaritori Local Government. There's no contest. It's incontrovertible.
Dr. Horsfall, in an interview with newsmen, urged President Bola Tinubu to intervene so that they will officially be reinstated into their offices because their mandate was abruptly denied. And also, former Ikwere local government chairman Bestman Amadi and his 13 councillors stormed the Ikwere Council Secretariat, insisting on resuming office. The action follows a ruling by the Court of Appeal led by Justice A.H. Laga Balogun, which nullified an earlier federal high court judgment that removed Amadi and other local government chairmen from office. Addressing scores of supporters at the council gate, Ms. Amadi called on the Inspector General of Police to immediately withdraw security personnel stationed at the Secretariat.
I came to assume office based on the victory we had in the appeal court. Appeal court ruled and set aside the judgment of Akambi, and based on the Supreme Court ruling asking the chairman of local governments, so local government cannot be vacant, we have to assume office. We are appealing to IG to order the Commissioner of Police to vacate the police presence in the council. My coming is to restore peace and order. My people are aware that I am a man of peace, so they are ready to give me free hand.
Mr. Amadi also argued that he and his councillors have not yet completed their tenure, assuring the provision of quality leadership to the people of a great local government area.
They should give us a little chance. Let us prove our mandate. We are given a mandate to rule for 3 years, and that is the mandate we stand. We came under the platform of APC. It's under that platform that we have come back, under the renewed hope of Senator Tinubu, who is the president of the country. My coming in is to bring in peace and development. In an area that is peace, it's easy to have development. So we have come to restore development in the local government, to ensure that agricultural process is going on. We have come to empower the students and help facilitate the health sector.
All right, so there are lots of questions coming out of this, questions you naturally want to ask, and hopefully we can get answers. My question for you, when the phone lines are open, is reinstating the former chairman based on the court ruling a more viable option than conducting fresh local government elections? But my guest is Mr. Sogbeye Eli, the former chairman of Degema local government area, and he joins me in the studio. You're welcome, Mr. Eli.
Thanks for having me. I'd rather be addressed as returning chairman.
Returning chairman.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, let's work with your name. So, Mr. Eli.
Yes.
This move by you and other returning chairmen at this time, are you making this call to resume office because there's a vacuum in office at this time? Or would you still have made this move if we didn't have the problem with the Supreme Court and local government elections?
Our journey to this point has been one of strictly sticking with the law.
Okay.
But never taking the law into our hands. We never try to assert ourselves by ourselves. Our step, every step of the way, has been guided by the law, the rule of law, and nothing more. Now, having said that, let me just say this. This argument about whether I should go back or not is absolutely unnecessary. This is the first and only set of Nigerians you'll find anywhere in history that endured in seeking judicial relief for an injustice done to them. Just recently, Rivers State, people who finished their tenure completely, ran down 3 years in accordance with Rivers State local government law, refused to leave councils. All right? In some cases, council buildings were incinerated, set on fire, dynamited after they finished their tenure. In our case, were elected, sworn into office, assumed duties, and were there. In 1 month plus, not done anything that is statutory. We never called any jack meeting or attended, not once. And were evicted from council by a judicial process. In a government that was led by the PDP, who had the APC at the federal government level, that had all the control, the levels of power. Yet President Muhammadu Buhari did not deem it fit one day to release the Inspector General of Police without me to force us back to power. I would stay there for 8 years. And also shenanigans were thrown at the wheels of justice. You see, but they say in law that the wheels of justice grind slowly and steadily, but surely. That's why we are here. Now, those who threw all manner of things at us to keep us out of power are the ones that violated this. We, for all material times, before we came in, the suit was there to stop our election. If this thing here that I brought here is the record of proceedings. On the last day, this matter was before Justice Lambert Combe Federal Court, being the 29th day of April 2015, and they adjourned senior day, all right, because it was given evidence that the matter, an appeal had been entered for him to stay proceedings by Research Lawyer BEI 14, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Government changed and then everything changed, all right? In clear violation of even his own order, the matter was brought forth and then were evicted from office. But like I said there, we never took the laws into our hands. So this debate about whether or not she go back is unnecessary. The judgment of the Court of Appeal, the unanimous decision of the Court of Appeal that was read by my Lord the Honorable Justice A.H. Laga Balogun is clear and explicit enough. She set aside the judgment that removed her from office as prayed. However, she noted that the officers will seek to be reinstated in, while at the moment, as at that 28th day of February 2025, occupied by people who are not parties to the appeal, and that it will be a violation of the principle of fair hearing, all right, natural principle of fair hearing, to grant an order that would violate without hearing from them. And that is just sound law. Now, incidentally, that same day while she was giving that judgment, the Supreme Court was sitting in Abuja, all right, and the Supreme Court, which is the higher court with the higher jurisdiction, in fact, the final court of the land, determined that issue. That obstacle that she saw that she couldn't clear for reasons of natural justice, of equity and fairness was taken away by the Supreme Court. What that means in effect is that in law, when there's a void, it's void. When there's something to fill that void, you don't waste time to look for something else.
Okay.
All right? That void that was created by the Supreme Court is there within, in other words, if that judgment had come a few hours or a few days after the Supreme Court judgment, of course, our conclusion would have been go back to your office. So this debate is, I think, unnecessary.
We'll continue the conversation after the break. Please stay with us.
With information
3 Nigeria Info, Sam Orkuchinedu here, and my guest, Mr. Sogbeye Eli, the returning chairman of Degema local government area, is still right here with me. You're welcome once again.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so the wheels of justice grind slowly. This time, it's a decade-old pace, and that's quite some time for any kind of case. Your eviction, as well as those of the other chairmen, what reason did the court give for evicting you in the first place?
Absolutely no reason. I have the record of proceedings here. Page 136 to page 140 shows the record of proceedings in summary of all that happened on the 29th day of April 2015. Elections held May 23rd, 2015. All right? Were evicted from office July 9, 2015. If you read this summary, you know there's absolutely no reason. Now, let me just make this clarification so people know. Before I ran for office of chairman in 2015, I was the staff of the River State Independent Electoral Commission from March 2004 to November 2010. In between that period, I was the electoral officer in charge of Moma local government, and I conducted 2 election cycles. In 2004, that produced Honorable Luke Anocha as chairman of the council, and then in 2008, that produced Honorable John Anocha, his cousin, as the next chairman of council, with the councillor, of course. So I'm acquainted with the rules and procedures. Essentially, in 2004 was when the likes of Mr. Wike ran the second term in Obiapo, all right? My colleague presented over the election. RISEC works on just one law, which is the Rivers Independent Electoral Commission law, all right? That law provides for notice of poll, and that law is at all material times as passed by the House of Assembly of Rivers State, drawing from the Constitution. When it comes to elections to area councils in Abuja, it's the Electoral Act that's a guide, because in Abuja, the National Assembly, which enacts the Electoral Act, functions as the House of Assembly for Abuja. That's where our Constitution has created it. Every other state in the 36 states of the Federation has the State House of Assembly created under Section 90 of the Constitution that's empowered to enact laws for the governance of the states. Now, for local government councils, again, the Constitution went further in Section 7 to guarantee democratically elected councils, all right? That power to provide democratically elected council is in the state electoral commissions. So, when an election is held by a state electoral commission, in accordance with the law of the electoral commission, nobody can question it. But people rose up for reasons best known to them, tried to question it. That while the proceedings were on, you see the hardship plan. If you read this record of proceedings, you can decipher for yourself what happened. That's why in 8 years, upwards of 10 years, they could not defend the appeal. If there was a reason germane in law why we should leave office, it didn't take this long. Now, we'll come to say this is like the struggle is our life. It's like Nelson Mandela faced with the apartheid regime in South Africa and his friends in the ANC. They toiled for so hard. As I speak to you, it's a shame that people had to do that. In the case of your boy, the vice chairman, Sam Adewobo, also died. This shouldn't be the case. Nigerians entitled to vice offices once who are qualified by law, and we bid nobody no evil, we look for no wrong, we did not oppress anybody's rights to express our interest in office. Now, they took us out because it's politics. It's called politics.
Yeah, but Mr. Eli, you were sacked by a court.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There had to be something. Even the most corrupt, if you accuse the courts of whatever form of malpractice, they have to hold on to something. There has to be a contravention of something. Even if I take you to, I have to accuse you of something. The court can't just say leave.
Okay. I'm not going to speak here too much as a lawyer because I'm not before a judge. I'm just trying to say I can carry my audience along as much as I can. A court will have a reason for a decision. You hear people say, oh, election held in contravention of another court. All right? And that's why the court exercises disciplinary jurisdiction. But from 2015 to now, 10 years is enough. Even if that other court was reprinted in Hawaii and it's coming by bicycle to Port Harcourt, that other court ought to have arrived by now. In social media, you see people post others of courts in River State. It's a normal thing. Have you ever seen another court from Milord the Honorable Justice Lambo Akombi of the Federal Court, Port Harcourt, where he said this election should not hold. In any event, did the PDP that filed lawsuits in FAC stroke PH stroke CS stroke 84 stroke 2015, did they pray that election should not hold? That the court should grant another election should not hold? No. They sought another court to restrain INEC, the first defendant, from releasing the rest of voters to the second defendant, Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. The purpose of us to ambush election, everybody knows. Was that order granted? No. I said, why they filed? First, they came by way of ex parte motion. So the court ruled that the second defendant come and show cause why that order prayed by the PDP should not be granted.
That's RISEC.
Yes. And adjourned to the 29th day of April. By the 29th day of April, RISEC counsel appeared in court. Counsel for RISEC and the governor of Rivers State, who happens to be the third defendant in that suit, Benelusa I. Mwafo SAN, appeared in court with evidence. All right, that the court they have filed is by the reason of that is that they have filed a motion. All right, a motion. All right, seeking a set of proceedings. The court, the counsel in court, that tendered evidence. All right, in court that a certified true copy. All right, of the motion of notice seeking to restrain the trial judge from conducting any further proceedings on that suit. All right, and everything that was supposed to show that notice of appeal had been entered, notice of appeal also, the CC also tendered, and it was admitted in evidence. And then the judge himself went ahead to adjourn sine die because the appeal court had fixed the 12th of October 2015 to take those motions that RISEC and the government university had filed through their lawyer. Now, the counsel for the PDP was Emmanuel Chimuagoma. By the time Wike took over as governor, he became the Attorney General of the state. And that is where the game changed. The law did not change. It's the interest of that private counsel who had become Attorney General of the state, a chief law officer, that did the magic. No other court was breached. He participated for a court and there is still proceedings. Immediately, the court below will seize jurisdiction and volunteer that jurisdiction to the court at the upper level of legislation. Yeah. It's nothing strange. Now, the question, as I'm going this far, I don't want to bore our leaders, our listeners with details. But the bottom line is this. If I find myself at the point where I have justice in a matter that I took to court, and the adverse party that is suffering the brunt of the justice I got, in order for him it's an injustice, and they go to court to seek judicial relief at the appeal court, and I'm unable to defend that justice that I got, then something's wrong with me. Not to the man that went on appeal. So the question is that on this journey, two motions were before Justice Akombi, having adjourned. When he brought the matter back ahead of October 12, he did hear those motions. As previous election, we came and filed on our motion as an interested party because the incident of his judgment, what the plaintiff was seeking, will fall on us directly as an interested party. Again, he didn't hear us. Meanwhile, the Constitution provides for us the right to fair hearing in Section 36. It is that same reason that the Court of Appeal on Friday refused to grant our relief to be reinstated immediately because the judges of the appeal court saw that while we're going to, there are people in that office who are not a party before them. That's how the law works. So if a judge finds a motion before him or her, the judge is mandatorily, by law, required to do justice to that motion one way or the other. Either you grant the prayer sought or refuse them, but you can't push the motion aside and go ahead. You don't do that. But that's what happened. And so after that happened, we've been on this journey. When we got to the appeal court, we filed as an interested party. The appeal court, in this wisdom, granted the appeal. The plaintiff, in this case, PDP, and of course now the government has changed, so they have gone the right way, went on appeal to Supreme Court, challenging that ruling, an interlocutory application, not the substantive appeal. Just put us here because we're interested. This matter had fallen on our heads. They removed us from office. That appeal was hung at the Supreme Court for 3 years. The governor then was appointing cadre committees, 6 of them in a row. By 2018, they held elections. You may want to ask, why did they not go to court to challenge the holding of those elections?
I was going to ask.
It's not part of the Electoral Act or Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission law. I told you here that I worked for RISEC. You don't stop elections in Nigeria. The agency that has the power to conduct elections is statutorily empowered to do so. If you have any grievances, you can file your case in court and argue it, but the court will not order you to sub-election. A case in point, in 2006, 2007 in this state, Rotimi Chibika ran for governor on the PDP ticket, won the primaries. His name was forwarded to INEC. Along the line, the issue of KLX saga arose, and it was dropped for his cousin, Sir Celestine Umeya. You know the rest of the story. He went to court to challenge his substitution. While he was in court, campaigns continued. After Mayor took the flag, campaigns continued, and Mayor was returned as governor. The court did not grant one single order on the election or hold. It's never done in Nigerian law. When they continued the appeal level up to Supreme Court said in the first instance that Mayor was not nominated because he didn't come through the process allowed by law.
Yeah.
Therefore, in the eyes of the law, he was never governor. We know these facts. So, when you find a judgment that comes ultra varied of justice, you find that the one that was run away with the judgment did not get justice. But justice must be seen as a three-way street. Justice to the plaintiff, justice to the defendant, and justice to society. That's the way my Lord, the Honorable Justice Oputa Chikudifu described it.
Okay, so you've answered a bit of this question,
Yeah.
but I'd like to ask as well, because you said you've lost some people along the way.
Yes.
How
And
have...
he didn't follow me say amen when I said, God, rest in peace to their souls.
Amen, amen.
Thank you very much.
I was keenly listening. How have you and, let me call you guys the crew, fared for this decade, waiting on this ruling?
We're a shining example of how civilized people behave. We look up to God and look up to our strength, which is in God and the Constitution, and the fact that our case has all the trappings of a good cause. We didn't breach anybody's right to seek office. We didn't trample on anybody's right to seek office. In the course of time, while this matter was on, 2 election cycles, 2018 and 2021, we did not go to court to stop elections. We did also deprive those who want to seek office their interests, they express their interest and the right elections. We did not. That's how to behave. That is how civilized people behave. Now, we patiently waited. Time called. And then the wheels of justice. Now, the way the law works, the moment elections were truncated by courts, all right, time was suspended on the course of action. So while we waited and they were doing their own thing, they were having their own show. We didn't protest. So here we are. The wheels of justice that grind slowly but assuredly have arrived with justice. Now, if for any reason anybody feels ill towards that decision, the hardest thing to do is to learn from us. The University Local Government Law still says 3 years for elected councils. So 2026 will make us 1 year from now. 2027, 2028 is gone. It's not for eternity.
Now, you waited through 2 election cycles.
Yes.
At the local government
Up to
level.
the third one that was nullified by the Supreme Court.
And now it seems there's another one coming.
Well, I wouldn't want to go into that because number one...
No, it's a part of the conversation.
Yeah,
Because if we're talking reinstatement,
yes,
we're talking about the possibilities on the other side.
yes. No, don't worry. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it.
This is the bridge, Mr. Eli.
No, don't worry. We won't preempt certain things. I got a notice like you today. And it's for what we do is... when we were outside, on the other side of the justice spectrum, when we had that Justice Amatosh's judgment, so Justice Akombe's judgment, hanging over our heads like a sword of Damocles, that time was when I could harbor some fears. Now, in the wisdom of God and judiciary and justice, that sword has been taken off our heads. So I have the rights are inured by that judgment to me and my colleagues. So if the agency of government that calls elections comes and says they want to run elections, mind you, in this whole appeal, you're going to find the name of RISEC here. From when the PDP started the case, they were the second defendant. When we file our appeal, you're going to see our appeal is described as Honorable Augustine Piongo and 22 others versus People's Democratic Party and others. Those others includes RISEC. And every